All right, I see 6 o'clock, so I'm going to call to order the Village Board of Trustees for the Village of Belleville on Monday, May 18th, 2026.
With allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Bongard. Here. Trustee Kim.
Here.
Here. Tenafly. Here. Nice. Here. Ziegler.
Here.
President Service.
Here.
That's four.
Public comment. Any public comment tonight?
I do not have anyone registered for public comment tonight.
And then we will continue on to the consent agenda. All items on the consent agenda are considered routine and will be enacted in one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a board member requests it, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered the first item after the approval of the consent agenda. Tonight we have the village board meeting minutes for May 4th, 2026, and Tempe alcohol licenses for the Sugar Badger, Badger Trails, and Last Dot Standing.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda. I'll second.
By Shelley, second by Kelly. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. Next item. Consider approve President's report. Nothing outside of what's on the agenda today. We're looking for a new village administrator. Oh, and, well, I don't know if that's time to share Gabe's announcement today. Gabe became a father today. Or yesterday, actually, I believe it was.
Oh.
Well, it's 3:33 this morning. So congratulations to Gabe and his wife.
Very exciting.
I hear everything is going just fine. So moving on to new business. Consider approval of the urban forestry management plan.
Yes, you have this all in front of you. I hope you've taken some time to read it over. It's an extensive document. Like many management plans, it sort of runs the gamut from our overall long-term strategy down to almost employee handbook manual type. This is how you plant a tree and do things. It's meant to be somewhat of an all-encompassing document. This went through the Parks Committee and is recommended for adoption. You don't have to agree with every little bit of thing in here. I wrote this and I did my best to balance the viewpoint of a forester trying to increase our canopy and, you know, the health of our canopy and the long-term growth with responsibilities within the village government. So I'm sort of wearing two hats on this one, which I will admit is a little bit difficult. But I tried to strike a good balance between them, which is why I'm telling you, you don't have to agree with absolutely everything in there, because at some point I'm talking like an outside consultant, like this is my professional recommendation, which might not align with what our village realities are, but I did try to balance those. So that's all here. I'm happy to answer any questions you have on it.
Did you run this by Cody at all, or?
Yes.
My question is just forester.
Yes. It's run by Cody, and if this gets approved, we can get our $10,000 from the DNR for completing our grant requirements. So that's a good thing too.
So budget-wise and everything, this is laid out so that in, is it 2031, you would meet your goal of?
That was, yes, that was a negotiated goal between Gabe and myself. He wanted 1 tree per housing unit. My goal is more, my personal goal is more of a percentage canopy cover for the village, which right now we're at about 31%. I'd like it double that or more. But it's a good step in that direction. And that's one of those aspects where I talked about wearing two hats and compromising.
You do have trees in the draft CIP, so.
Oh, yes.
There aren't a lot, or it was, yeah.
We talked about those numbers.
Yeah, we did talk about those.
We talked about those numbers.
Yeah.
We'll see how far they make it.
No, I understand. I understand completely.
My question would be, we seem to have a lot of silver maples. Those are pretty soft trees that like to come down with big wind. I think I would like to see less of those.
Yes.
And we have quite a bunch of ash trees, and code has been treating ash trees. Do we really want to be putting more ash trees in?
Nope, and you will find, if you thoroughly read through this, we basically have a no maple with a few exceptions. I'm willing to plant a few of certain cultivars, which are good, which are reliable, harder trees, tend to grow a little slower. We will not be planting any ash trees at all. But
Up the hackberries.
yes, we have lots of hackberries.
Those are awesome trees.
One of our primary goals is to increase our canopy diversity. Going by what's sort of the gold standard right now is the goal is to have no more than 5% of a single species in your canopy, no more than 10% of a single genus, and no more than 20% of a single family. And the reasoning behind that is you have something like emerald ash borer come through and it destroys all that family or all that species. And even more than the sort of the frailty of maples, I mean, they're gorgeous trees, they're beautiful trees, but
It's like, it's going to drop, it's constantly dropping stuff.
it does. But our big concern with the maples is that high percentage, and that when some blight comes through that affects maples, and we don't know what the next blight's going to be, it's going to wipe out 30% of our canopy.
Well, those maples that have the helicopters, you know, those things blow everywhere and they'll start growing every place and they'll kill out other trees if you don't keep an eye on them.
Yeah.
You gotta mind those little buggers.
Yeah. It'll take us about 25, assuming we go sort of according to this plan, it'll take us 25 years to reach that standard. But on the other hand, no one reaches that standard. But that is what we're moving towards. And all of our plantings that we've done since I've been here and all the ones that we will continue to do will continue to move us towards those standards. There'll be very few maples. There will be no ash. Everything that we are planting will be in those low percentage trees that we have. I think I've got a list of 40 or 45 acceptable trees for the village to plant right now, acceptable species.
And I'm glad there's no walnut.
Well, I can't promise you'll always be happy about single species because everyone's got their own opinions on
I've got another one that the shucks kill the ground and stuff around them, so you gotta be, they're toxic, you gotta be careful. I've planted a lot of trees out at the farm, so.
Okay.
And these are all numbers that are village trees.
Village trees.
Not private, village trees. Any additional discussion? I'll make a motion to approve the urban forestry management plan.
Second.
Debbie? One last chance, anybody? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Nice report, Drew.
Thank you.
Yeah, you did a great job.
Next item, consider approval for clearing of the Heritage Trail contracted map.
Yes, so the map that is attached is not exact. When we actually get in there, there will be a little probably tweaking for obstacles and things like that. But it is a good representation of what's going to be done. And this actually is happening right now because of, I don't know, some silliness turning into good luck. Some of you may recall we were looking to do soil borings for where we're going to put that overlook section on the Sugar River. And the contractor who was going to do those came to us and said, hey, I can't get in there. So we started like, okay, and this is the silly part, it's like, we took you there when you bid this, you knew. But so we started looking for a brush hogging service. Okay, well, we've got to clear this anyway, let's look at it. And so we took the guy out there and, we're talking about what we're going to doing and eventually laid out the map for him. And he's like, oh, I could do this entire thing in about 2 days. And he charges $3,000 a day to do it. So he will clear the entire trail that we're talking about. It's like 1.7 miles, something along that line. And it's possible that, it may take him a little longer than estimated, but frankly, this is far less than we anticipated. And this will clear the area out to the point and the entire loop around that's mapped out there.
How long is this?
It's about 1.7 miles. Yeah. Even if his estimate of time is wrong and it takes him, another day, it's still
Well,
it's well worth it. Mm-hmm. And afterwards, after it's done, cleared through one time, we could invest in a brush hog, probably $1,000, and then we'd be able to do the maintenance afterwards. That really wouldn't be a huge thing.
I'll rent your mine.
Okay. I don't know if you're allowed, but,
I'll make a motion that we approve the contract, quote from Whitehall Forestry, not to exceed $6,200 for the clearing of the Heritage Trail.
Second.
Motion carries, second. So, not to exceed.
Should we make it more than 6,200 in case we get that third day?
I would, for simplicity's sake, I might ask that.
Okay, $1.3 million.
Okay, I'll amend my motion, $7,500.
There you go. A second.
And I don't have to come back and beg for money.
Any objections to the amended motion of not to exceed how much?
$7,500.
$7,500?
Yep.
No one's opposed, so the motion will be amended to not to exceed $7,500. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, next item on here is consider budget amendment resolution 2026-16 for 130 South Vine Street renovations.
Okay. So some months ago, well, a couple months ago, I guess, you guys approved contracts for the renovation of the inside and the outside of 130 South Vine. A budget amendment was never made for them. So the majority of that is this. The total of those two, the inside and outside contracts, was $55,000. So that's what the majority of this. This is essentially addressing a budget amendment, addressing bids that you guys have already approved and are already well on their way working. The remaining 7,000 is we need to move some of the IT equipment, which is sitting down in the kitchen area downstairs, into the electrical room. And also that would include removing the old stuff from old communication companies, which is no longer used. Removing all that old stuff and only keeping the current stuff. And then moving it into the electric room, which the village still, isn't leasing out. Now, that is, I believe, 3,500 of that remainder. And then what actually spurred this, I hate to say it, is we were in there looking around and we found that there were real problems with the fire alarm system. It had basically been discontinued, I think, in 2022. So we need to rehook that up, and that is a paramount safety concern that has to be dealt with. So I've already reached out, contacted them, had them come through, give me an estimate for fixing all of that. The company is Omni, the same one that, it's doing the library, does police department. But that's what the remainder of that money is for, is to get the fire alarm system up and running as it's supposed to be. So that's what this budget amendment is for. Originally, I was just coming to you with the fire alarm budget amendment. And then when I started looking into it, it was, wait, this was never done. So here we are.
I'll move we approve resolution 2026-16.
Second.
Motion by Gary, second by Debbie to approve. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
I don't actually like spending your money. I don't know if you know that.
All right, next item up is consider approval of the village administrator job description.
Can I ask a question on that? Do we want to discuss these before we discuss what we're going to discuss in closed session, or?
I had the same question.
That's a legitimate question.
Kind of seems backwards to me.
One does seem somewhat dependent on the other, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The way these positions
I
are
think we should
structured.
table these till we come out of closed session and deal with them there. Personally.
The duties changed regardless of decisions made in closed session.
I have.
That's what they would.
The org structure is obviously the open discussion, is not what you're going to be discussing in closed session. Can be discussed separate from who you want to put in the org structure. It kind of does help to structure your organization before you start filling the spots in your structure. That would be my recommendation of why it's this order.
Yeah, but if we decide to change the org structure, that's what's recommended from finance, then
I think we need to do it. in closed session.
Defining the roles doesn't change the org structure, does it? I mean, where here is the org structure
Well, it
changing?
does sort of in the fact that with your assistant village administrator, the assistant village administrator job description switches from what Drew's been doing as your director of operational services to more of your finance and zoning administrator, which is what Ian's been up to, in the assumption that that org structure wants to change that way.
Yes, this is basically, the administrator is largely the same, but essentially you're going from, this would have you going from an assistant village administrator who covers public works, and then having a finance manager, to having an assistant village administrator that covers finance, and then having a standalone public works.
yeah. I mean, that was my thought. I mean, what,
Well, I'm just saying your org structure is an open session discussion regardless of who.
Well, I have an employee's administrator's job description that we can compare to.
you can move it to the end if you want to. What do you mean move? Like the agenda items, you can move them until after the closed session.
That's fine.
That's what we're asking.
I think there's sort of a logic in that.
I'm fine with moving those items 70, 71, 72 to after closed session. Yeah. So. We're in agreement? All right.
Do it in closed session?
No, we're gonna do closed session first and then.
Yeah, I think
After closed session.
Yeah,
we need to do.
we'll do those after.
Let's come out and back into open session.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna skip those three items. We're gonna move down to 8 on the agenda.
Where is, eight, yes, sorry.
Yeah.
I just was looking at my vote sheet and realizing I kind of hid that from you. I'm glad you found it.
Right. Properly here. So news and announcements.
Your flower pots for the streets will be out probably tomorrow. I know people have been waiting. But last week was actually our first frost-free week and we were all busy, so we couldn't do it. But they should be up tomorrow. They were planted today.
Tierney's taken, yeah, she called me about getting the money from the community club, and I said, go for it, so.
Are we adopting those again?
Out for care. I don't believe we adopted them out last year. We weren't planning on it this year. We're gonna maintain public works maintenance of them.
Any upcoming community events?
We have a couple community events coming up at the end of May on the 30th, the Chalk Walk, which will be happening in Library Park that morning, and the congruence at the same time as the Bike to Breakfast. So the Yards is putting on. The Chalk Walk is kind of open to anybody that wants to come right at a square. It's by donation this year. All donations are going to go to the Historical Society. So there's no limit to how much you want to donate, how much you want to draw on the ground. Hopefully, we're hoping for good weather for both those. So some other stuff going on. Check this out.
We have EMS open house. This is EMS week. So tomorrow is New Glarus 4 to 7, and Wednesday is Belleville EMS 4 to 7.
What was it you said the Yards were doing?
It's called Bike to Breakfast. She's doing, she had a couple bike shops bringing in bikes people can try, kids can try, and they're just gonna have a taco stand for breakfast tacos. Other.
Go 30 miles an hour.
30.
Tango fell in St. Louis.
Great. Any future agenda items?
He's
Yeah.
Probably.
So be posted.
To be determined.
All right. All right, closed session. So we have actually two separate closed sessions.
So we can go to closed session once and do all 6 of those items in closed session. If that's a lot of reading, take a deep breath first.
Go get a beer.
All right. The Village of Belleville Village Board will enter into a closed session pursuant to Wisconsin State Statutes 19.85 subsection 1, subsection E for the purposes of deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business. Whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session, the Village Board may reconvene into open session and take action on the subject discussed in closed session. We have 4 items tonight. The first one is consider approval of the memorandum of understanding relating to scheduling changes between the Village of Belleville, the Belleville Professional Police Association, and the Wisconsin Professional Police Association. We will consider the Park Meadows Development and Annexation Agreement. We will consider the Ontario Estates Development and Annexation Agreement. We will consider the Park Meadows and Ontario Estates Parkland Bank Agreement. And then we will also consider the hiring, employment.
No, you got to read that paragraph. I can't skip it, sorry.
So also, in a closed session, the Village of Belleville Village Board will enter into a closed session pursuant to Wisconsin State Statute 19.85 subsection 1 subsection C for the purpose of considering employment, promotion, compensation, and performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility. The Village Board may reconvene into open session and take action on the subject discussed in closed session. We have 2 items for this, which is consider the hiring, employment, or promotion of the next village administrator. Consider the hiring, employment, or promotion for the next assistant village administrator.
We adjourn to closed session.
Second.
Motion by Gary, second by Shelley. Roll call.
Trustee Baumgart.
Yes.
Shannon.
Yes.
Eichelkraut.
Yes.
Armstrong.
Yes.
Yes. Jacob.
Yes.
Trustee Burns.
Yes.
That passes 7.
Closed session at 6:24 p.m.
with the, here back. What's up?
It's probably this section.
Is the recording going?
The recording's on.
All right, so we're back in open session. Yeah, you wanna,
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we approve the memorandum of understanding between the WPPA and the BPPA.
second by Missy. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Now we're going to move to discussing the approval of the village administrator job description. So we have that in our packets.
Are we going to do that, or are we going to do what we discussed in closed session first?
It's circular, you can go either way. I don't know if we decide.
Well,
We should.
You didn't, but I make a motion that we approve the position descriptions as outlined.
Second.
Can we do them all at once, or three separate
They're
items?
separate items, so how are you guys going to have to meet?
That's okay.
It's fine. I'll make the motion that we approve the job decision for the village administrator. Give me the official title of it.
Yeah.
And a second.
so that is for approval of the village administrator job description as written. Any discussion?
I'll make a motion that we approve.
Okay,
You want to
hold on,
vote?
I gotta vote on this.
Yeah, one at a time, we have to go.
All right, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Next item is consider approval of the assistant village administrator job description.
Make a motion that we approve the assistant administrative position, job description.
Second.
And a second to Gary. So, motion to approve the assistant village administrator job description. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. And final one for those is consider the director of operational services job description.
I'll move we approve the revised director of operational services job description.
Second.
Debbie. Discussion. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. All right, that item, which items are taken care of? All right. Someone else want to make a motion? I will. I would like to make a motion to offer the village administrator job position to Drew.
Second.
That's outlined by the contract.
Yeah. Any discussion?
I just want to say, I do think we should conduct a search and include Drew as a candidate within that search.
Anyone else?
I would say that as discussed, I think that I firmly feel that Drew is the guy for the job. I think he's going to keep our momentum going in the right direction. I'm proud of the staff we have and the way things have gone so far. And I trust Drew to take that over. He's hired to do just that.
I would agree with Missy.
So, let's do a roll call vote, please.
Okay. Trustee Baumgart.
Yes.
Trustee Cannon.
No.
Trustee Eichelkraut.
Yes.
Trustee Franz.
Yes.
Trustee Ness.
Yes.
Sorry, Trustee Ziegler.
Yes.
President Service.
Yes.
Passes on 6-1.
Speech.
Drew, will you accept the position?
Yes.
Congratulations.
Started 10 minutes ago.
You started at 3:33 a.m.
So,
Make the motion to appoint Ian as the assistant administrator.
Second.
so Gary made the motion, seconded by Debbie. Ian,
Do we have to put a salary amount in there then for him?
I think we can just do as outlined, since you
Okay.
mentioned it as.
it's outlined.
$50,000 again, so. Oh, I'm okay with it, but then, like, you're not gonna be able to get hired. No, I don't.
So the motion is by Gary, seconded by Debbie, is to appoint Ian, the assistant administrator, as outlined.
We need to list his other duties too, or we could just.
It's all.
Roll call vote for this one.
Okay. Trustee Baumgart.
Yes.
Cannon.
Yes.
Eichelkraut.
Yes.
Franz.
Yes.
Ness.
Yes.
Ziegler.
Yes.
President Service.
Yes.
Passes on 7-0.
And I will,
Do you accept that role, Ian?
Ian's buying.
depends, what do you do with the money?
Giving it to you as your salary.
And then I will make another motion that we post the director of operational services position immediately.
Second.
$5. No, we didn't. $25.
Maybe half hour?
Maybe.
I think it is, I think is there a wage range in there's probably a wage range.
Yeah, there it is, oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I think you're okay there.
All right, any discussion on
73 to 84.
Yeah.
Gary's motion for posting the director of operational services position?
Did I second?
Where all are we gonna post it?
Where we normally post things.
Good management of that post. I would recommend we get Indeed, just like everyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is like Facebook, it'd be
There's
all
Indeed
over.
and plenty of,
Yeah.
administrative apps,
Curious about this.
municipal apps, excuse me.
So we've got a motion to post the director of operational services position. I'm just gonna do a voice vote on this one, if that's okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. And I believe we have one more motion for the night.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Motion by Debbie,
Second.
second by Shelley. Anything else before we adjourn? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned at 8:25 PM.